Hey folks, I've had a couple people ask me how to trap a mole or a vole. I'm not quite sure what they are, but I do know that they leave quite a mess. So these are little critters that dig tunnels, and where they come up, they leave a hill or a mound. So anyway, I'm going to share some tips that have worked for me, and hopefully they'll work for you guys too. So the first thing, I guess, is to just assess the area. So here we are. I'm actually at my neighbor's house, and I was helping him for about the last week trap mole. So he's had quite a few on his property, and I was around last night and we caught one. So I'll show you kind of the area, and then we'll get into talking about specific traps and then how to set them up and whatnot. So this is kind of the area that we've been working in right now. You can see we've gone through and just kind of leveled where there were hills. So I know that there was no activity in this area. We did think that there was one here, but the trap didn't spring, and I'll explain that to you later. But that's one I set last night, and we didn't catch anything there. See some more hills and whatnot. But I just checked this one this morning, and indeed this trap is sprung, and you can tell because the lever is lifted all the way up. And lo and behold, we got a little mole there. So now I'll get the mole out of the trap, and I'll explain a little bit about the different types of traps in a minute, and then we'll set one up. I'll take you through that process. Yeah, so here are a couple of different types of traps that I've come across. You can generally get traps, at least I've seen them, at Peavey Mart and Home Hardware as well, and I'm sure that there's others. I think they call this one a gopher trap. I personally prefer this more cylindrical shaped one, and this is from Peavey Mart. See there, Peavey Mart. They run about 15 or 20 bucks each, so they might go by mole traps or gopher traps. The principle is basically the same. There's this spring-loaded mechanism here, and that spring-loaded mechanism comes down and has a wire. So when the little critter goes up that tube there, it trips the little flap at the back and releases this and just kind of gets them around the gut. And I showed you that one earlier that we had caught. So this one's kind of the same too. This is harder to move with one hand, but yeah, that just comes down, and you wouldn't want to get your finger caught in there, so be very, very careful with the traps when they're set. Don't be putting your finger in this space at all. So I always like to have them in the loose position like this, kind of unset until you need to use them. Especially be careful with them around kids and dogs as well, animals and stuff. So anyway, why don't we go and set up a trap? I'll show you how to do that. So really all you need to catch a mole is some kind of stick, and you'll need this to kind of open up a tunnel. So I just have this stick here and pick a trap. So I've got this fresh hill from last night, and I know it's fresh because when I was here, I kind of decimated. You can see I kind of walked all over these other ones because I wasn't sure what was an active hill or not. And I caught a mole in what was an active hill, and I didn't in another. So I'm just going to flatten the other hill and use that trap over in this spot, because obviously they were here yesterday. So anyway, there's a mound like this, fresh mound. And the first thing that you got to do is figure out where the opening is. So it might be hard to tell in the video, but these are almost like little volcanoes. So where there's a bit of a depression in the volcano, if you can see right around here, I'm going to start there and just kind of work my way down and see if I can find the hole that this guy is right there. So this is his little tunnel right here. So what you want to do is just kind of open up the tunnel a bit, and this is very, very sandy soil where we live, and it's the same principle whether it's sandy soil or regular kind of soil, but you want to open up that hole. So this is where you get the stick and just run that stick up the hole as much as you can, and you're not trying to do anything more here than just open up to let light in. So you can see how far now. I'm pretty lucky. I've gone this far all the way in there. And the reason why it's so important to open it up for light, this is the trick to catching moles. They're nocturnal and they don't like light. So the way that these traps are designed, the back end of the trap, there's a hole there. And what that'll do when it's set up, and we'll set it up properly, what that'll do, you block off all of the light around the trap, then all the light comes through here. That's it. Just comes through that little opening. And then the little critter comes up and he wants to plug that light. So he comes up and he walks right into the trap along here, and he'll hit the mechanism at the back, and then ba-boom, he's caught. So that's basically the principle for catching moles. So I'll set the trap here. Try and hold this, do it together. So I'll just put this phone down for 1 second because it's kind of awkward. Just hold on 1 second. There we are, I'm back. So trap's pretty easy to set. I think you can figure it out on your own, but like I said, don't put your hand in there. The trap is set. It's just on this hairpin trigger right here. So now what you got to do is set the trap up at an angle that the mole is going to come out. You want it to be as natural as possible for him just to walk out. So you can see here, this is the trajectory that he's going to want to come, because that's his little tunnel right there. So we're going to set the mole trap in that trajectory and at that incline. Okay, so I'm going to move that out and I put the trap about that space and that trajectory, and it's now open for him just to walk up. So to make it sturdy, just push a little bit of your soil around here. Of course, be careful not to spring the trap. A little bit of soil around there. Soil around there. So now if you notice, the only light that should be coming through here is the light at the back of the trap. All of the other light is all blocked off. And that's all you need to do to set a mole trap. So I hope this was helpful, and good luck. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can text my wife, and I'll be happy to talk you through it some more. Good luck.